This one, I have this Dollar Tree sign here, got it back in the fall, and I'm just going to remove this hanger on the back. I won't be needing that. I'm also going to be using these wood peg dolls. I got that from the Dollar Tree as well. These things were both $1.25 each. I sanded away as much of that glitter as I could. I'm going to wood glue these peg dolls onto the sign, but that's really just to hold it secure while I put a brad nail in each of these pegs here. I'm going to go in from the back, and then it was a little bit awkward. I had to do some balancing on some candle cups there to try to get it straight so that I could use my staple gun there to put those brad nails in there, and then they didn't even go in all the way. I had to hammer them down the rest of the way. How I'm going to hang this once I'm done with it is I punched, using my Crocodile Big Bite, I punched 2 holes in it so that I can nail this to the wall later. Also got this little mirror that I got for $1.25 at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the mirror. You want to wear safety glasses anytime you're doing something like that. But I gave both of these pieces a base coat of truffle chalk paint by Waverly. This printable will be in the description box if you're interested. This little duck is a character made by Beatrix Potter. She wrote the book The Tale of Jemima Puddle Duck. And I took an image. Her work is in the public domain, and so it was okay that I did this. I took the image of the duck and I asked ChatGPT to create this image for me, and I think it did a pretty good job. I feel like this would be a good time right here to bring this up since I used an AI image. I wanted you guys to know that anytime I use AI, I'll let you know that I used AI for something. I don't ever want you guys to feel tricked into thinking that I created something, or I don't want to misrepresent anything. So I've seen a lot of fake completely AI crafting on social media recently, and then I also saw a random craft video where someone was keeping the camera really close to their craft, and then at the end they didn't show a real photo of the final product of what they made. It's like they were being a little bit, I feel like they were being deceptive because they never showed a real video or real image of the final product of what they made. They just sort of, kept the image, kept the video really close, and then you couldn't ever see the full craft. I just want to let you guys know I'll never do anything like that, and I try to show all sides of things that I made. I want you to know that what I make is realistic, that someone else could recreate it. That's kind of the whole point of this, is to give you guys ideas of things that a person could actually do. So will I use AI to make y'all printables? Absolutely. Would I use AI for a thumbnail? Maybe I would do that. But as far as, the final images that I show y'all in video of what I make, I'll never fake those. And if I did use AI to show y'all an image of something that I made in a certain setting, like maybe I had an idea of saying, like, you could use this for this, and then I could show an AI image of it being used in that way. If I ever did something like that, I would let you guys know that it was a generated image, that it wasn't, it wasn't a real image. It was just an inspiration photo. This is definitely a new thing that we're all going to have to navigate around. But yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know that, like, where I stand with it. What y'all can expect from me in regards to AI. I did take that mirror and use it as a template to trace around to get my circle to put in the center of my frame there. I could have printed out the image on a thicker piece of paper, but I didn't. But because I didn't, I'm going to use my glue tape runner here and completely cover a circle of chipboard, really thin cardboard here, just to give the image some stability, and then I'll be gluing that in the center of the frame. I used E6000 to glue the frame to the Dollar Tree sign. I got these little adhesive half beads from Walmart, and I'm going to use it to frame out this little duck, and it's gonna sort of distract you from the fact that my circle isn't completely perfectly cut. That's the plan anyway. I did give the beads a base coat of the truffle chalk paint as well. Now everything that I painted with the brown, I'm going to go over the brown with the alfalfa green by Folk Art. I gave that 2 coats, and then I'm going to do some pretty heavy distressing, some aging with the Antique Wax by Waverly. My first plan was to use this image here of this lady. That's a 4x6, so a 4x6 would work if you wanted to print out a piece of art to use instead of my little duck that I have here. But I stand by the duck. I think it's really cute. I wanted to do something a little more summery, a little more happy looking, if that makes sense. So yes, the painting would have looked a little prettier, and it would have probably matched the style of that frame a little bit better, but I just really liked the duck, so I wanted to keep it. This is just a quick reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss any future videos. And hit that hype button if you really liked these crafts. Those are free ways to help out my channel, and they are greatly appreciated. This one, I have this little crate from the Dollar Tree. I have these very large craft sticks from Walmart. I'm not sure if they're called Giant or Super Jumbo. They might be the Super Jumbo. There's several sizes of craft sticks at Walmart. I can never remember which ones are called which. I'm going to cover both the front and the back, basically just to cover up these holes on this little crate. I used wood glue to attach these pieces of craft stick to the front and the back, and I used a weight to set on there while that glue set up. Once I got that done, I used some lightweight spackling that I got from Walmart to fill in those cracks because I don't want this to look like a crate anymore. Got this sticker that I've had for ages from the Dollar Tree, but I'm sure you could find something similar at Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to use Titebond glue to glue that, and then I'll weight that down as well so that it'll be nice and flush up against the crate. I needed a tiny little knob, and I like to use the bottoms of these wooden mushrooms from the Dollar Tree for that. I've used these for knobs a time or two. I'm going to use my miter shears to cut the bottom off of one. I found that was a little bit too long still, and so I just kept chipping away until I got it the length that I wanted it. And then I did take a sanding block from the Dollar Tree, and I just rubbed that on there to where I got it mostly flat on the bottom. And now I'm not going to be using this as a drawer. What I'm making is like a nod to a sewing drawer, but it's going to be sort of a miniature one. And so this is going to be the knob, the little drawer pull on the drawer. And so it won't be used as a drawer, but you could definitely use a better glue than hot glue. But just for speed, I'm going to use the hot glue, and it's holding up nicely. I kept moving it around with the knob, so it's holding up pretty good. I gave the whole thing a couple of coats of cashew chalk paint. I wanted this to look sort of like those sewing drawers that people give a makeover to. I'm not crazy about those makeovers because those drawers on those old sewing desks are so beautiful. And it kind of breaks my heart when I see somebody painting and putting transfers on those gorgeous wooden sewing table drawers, but to each their own, and it's their property. They can they can do with it whatever they'd like. It's none of my business. But you could definitely, if you're thinking about making over one of those drawers, you could make a crate look like that, instead of painting over. If it's got a beautiful wood finish, instead of doing that, or if you don't have an old, those sewing drawers are pretty expensive if you buy them online. And so you could recreate the look, and I'm just showing you how to on a small scale, but you could definitely buy a bigger crate. They have one at Walmart that's long and skinny, and then I've seen one at Dollar Tree in the plus section before too, sort of the same dimensions as one of those sewing drawers. But I am taking this rub-on transfer that I got off Amazon. That is in my Amazon shop, link in the description. You could also use a napkin that you might have to add a decorative element to this little drawer. I used some European gold rub and buff to do the distressing instead of the antique wax on this piece. And the bad thing about these cheap rub-on transfers is that they are shiny, but once you put some super matte Mod Podge over them, it completely fixes that issue and makes the transfer look a lot more high-end. One of my craft room videos, I made this cover for my light switch, and when you open up the doors on it, I have this broken plastic light switch cover. And so I was at Hobby Lobby one day, and they had their woodpile things on sale, and $2.99 originally isn't bad, but I got this for, I think, 40% off of that $2.99. I'm going to stain it with my Varathane gel stain. And I'm going to use that same rub-on transfer. Did have to Frankenstein it just a little bit. I cut some of the greenery off of some of the other pieces of the transfer to go around because it just looked a little bare. It needed some of that greenery in that upper right hand corner there. And then I also went over this with the Super Matte Mod Podge to take that shine away. For some of you that might be new here, I just want to let you guys know that if you go to my channel, there's a playlist section, and I have playlists of all my videos organized there by type. And so like here's the everyday DIYs. That's the playlist that this video will go in. And I was explaining last week that I was doing a little bit of spring cleaning on my channel, and I just wanted to reassure you guys, I'm not deleting those really old videos. I was just removing a few of them from the playlist. That way the playlist would be enjoyable to watch, and you wouldn't run into one of those old videos that I wasn't very good at. For this one, I have this little bucket here. It was a Play-Doh bucket. And I'm going to repurpose it by covering it with these clothespins. I'm going to take these clothespins apart here. I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue. And this little bucket, I still use it. It holds my regular size popsicle sticks. And you might have even seen it in some other videos where I brought out the basket of popsicle sticks to use on a project. So that E6000 is pretty good stuff. This bucket's held up for 5 years and not even one clothespin has popped off. This is one of those crafts from one of those videos from 5 years ago that I'm re-editing and then adding back in so that the craft is present in the playlist. Where I needed to cut a couple of those clothespins, a pair of wire cutters worked out well for that. Instead of using stain, I just used some watered down burnt umber as a stain. This plastic handle, I just covered that in twine. Just used some hot glue and wrapped that twine around the entire handle. I have this old pillowcase here, and I'm just going to cut a square and then hot glue it closed, making a pocket, leaving the top open. Lace trim will cover up that rough edge. I had to cut away some of that pillowcase so that I could put the handle down in there underneath that lace trim. This trim was sort of, had some ribbon running through it, and so I made sure to leave a tail. I'm pretty sure I got that from Walmart ages ago. I don't think they sell it anymore, but I really liked that trim. The extra that I didn't cut away of that trim there, I just did a shoelace bow there on the front of the basket. But that's it for this one. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you have a favorite from today. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.